What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's going on with SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'll break down what's happening with the charts so far and some very important resistance levels to be watching for, and also what's happening with tomorrow as we have some very big stuff coming out. Before I break into detail most information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner. Take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks, and the offer ends very soon. Anyways, for the market, I just want to let you guys know that the housing data looked decent for today. And when the 20-year bond auction came out, a little bit lower than expected, the stock market ended up pushing. So the market got this nice little bounce, but now we're at some tight resistance. We're going to be watching to see how the market reacts to that. Now, going into tomorrow, it's going to be Wednesday, March 20th. Do not forget we have the FOMC meeting. It's going to be starting in the afternoon, so we have some time until that happens. We have very important data coming out from the Fed, not to mention Jerome Powell giving a speech. So that's going to be very impactful. And I expect a very big surge in volatility once that time comes. So for SPY, what's happening with the chart right now? This thing came down. We were talking about this thing coming down, then eventually bouncing. I did mention this in my video. I said that however high it goes, it might actually get a rejection. So I was thinking I might push up, like maybe it's like 513, 514, then reject. We did push even higher than that. We went up to about 515.5. But the question is, will we reject from here or not? As of right now, it is kind of fighting some tough resistance at this 515.5 area. The last time we hit this, we saw this thing come down. And overall, if you go back on SPY, this thing has been going back and forth for quite some time. So we're going to be watching to see which way this thing goes, especially after the FOMC meeting. Do we get a big rug pull ultimately, or do we see something much bigger? And from this point on, I don't really think that the price action matters as much. FOMC is going to cause a bigger move. So watch 515 to 515.5 as resistance. If we break past the 515.5 area and we continue to push on a very strong manner, I could see 516.5 coming. If we end up turning back down, we're going to be basically approaching 514.2, 513.5, then the 512.5 area. Right now, we're kind of shuffling. We're just going back and forth at this 515 area. It's not clear whether this is going to reject yet or not, but we are at tough resistance, so watch it carefully and see if this thing turns. As of right now, it's holding up very well. It's holding up very nicely, but the resistance is very tough, and this thing is just continuing to trade sideways right there. May continue to do so as time progresses as we're approaching the final hour. The QQQ, on the other hand, is showing lots of life, especially thanks to Nvda. We came all the way down to 434. I was expecting it to come up towards 436, if not 438, and possibly come back down as we got this rejection during the pre-market. But instead, we actually kept going, so it went even stronger than expected. And now we're approaching this next trend line right here at this 439 area. This is where we have some tight resistance. And ever since we went above 438, the QQQ has been shopping for the last 4 hours back and forth between 438 and 439. It may continue to do so for the rest of the day. But for us to be bullish, you want to see it break past 440. To be bearish, you want to see it lose 438 and then this 437.5 area. As of right now, it is still shopping, and we'll have to see what happens from there. But there is some potential for it to push higher thanks to Nvda. Nvda is showing a lot of strength right now. Nvda came all the way up to about this 900 area. But if you look at where this white trend line happens to be, if you look at the white trend line, this is going to be our resistance right here. So this resistance basically is approaching the very close to this 900 area, the very low 900. So if we break past this, we have 908 coming, and eventually the next resistance zone around 920. If we reject off this white area, we're going to be coming all the way back down towards 892, then 885. If we lose 885, a bigger drop is going to be coming to 872, then 862. But in a nutshell, basically, if we come below 885, there's going to be a risk of this dropping harder to this imbalance. So the 885 is a critical support. If we break past 908, we have a lot of upside potential to 920 plus. That's like the most simple way to look at it. Look at these two lines right here, right? This yellow line, the yellow line right here, and then this other one above here. Those are two levels to watch for. Which way this Nvda break, we'll have to wait and see. But as of right now, with the events coming out, it's showing some life, trying to push this trend line. So I think that it might just shuffle very close to 900 and remain range bound. But this, if it does get a push later on, that could help the QQQ. Now, finally, we have Aapl before I talk about Tesla. Apple's trying to push a hit resistance at 176.5. I was talking about 175.75, went a little bit higher than that. And now we're just shuffling up here. So it's going to be likely range bound very close to the 176 zone. 176.5 to 175.75. That's what I'm seeing for now, but this does have more potential as this is forming a very, very nice accumulation. So if it does come down a bit, it could push up higher by tomorrow, possibly, depending on other factors. And then we have Tesla, which is showing some life. Tesla overall, it has a cup and handle like structure, right? There's a cup here, might be a handle forming, but I'm not going to solely trade based off that because of the fact that we have to be looking for what data comes out tomorrow, which Jerome Powell says. I do see a possible bullish wedge forming that does suggest Tesla could try to bounce again. The market's been pretty crazy these last few days, up and down, but I do think that Tesla has more bullish momentum building as we're making a higher low relative to this low right here. So if we get a big bounce, Tesla could start pushing higher. But I just want to say that you have to be careful because this is going to be determined by Jerome Powell. Powell may help Tesla launch past 175 into the 180 area, or he could cause Tesla to get a rug pull. So we'll have to wait and see what happens if that actually kind of like correlates with this pattern. So that being said, that's what I'm seeing for the charts right now. Tesla is just kind of chopping at this 172 area. Watch 172, then 173.75 as resistance, and then 170 as support. As of right now, I see us kind of chopping in that zone, not really doing a whole lot. Then we'll have to see if Tesla does anything else later. I do see a bullish wedge trying to form, so there is upside potential for it. But as of right now, the bigger determiner is going to be Jerome Powell. For a couple more, we have Supermicro still kind of trading sideways around this 900 area, but it's trying to base around here. If it breaks 921, watch for it to approach 950 and supports at 850 so far. It is trying to rebound a bit. It could try to rebound a little bit more, but we have to give it some more time. The IWM Russell 2000 is trying to bounce. We got a nice bounce off very close to 200. We're going to be looking at resistance at 202.5 and eventually 203.39. And we have support around 201.6. It does have potential to try to rebound here. Then we also have, let me see what else is there. Amazon, in my opinion, is showing some life. If this thing tries to hold 175, we could push higher towards 178. If we fail, if we lose 172, not 172, sorry, 170, what is this, 174, then we could come down to 172. But overall, the chart is showing life. It's trying to bounce, and I do see potential for Amazon to push, technically speaking. Meta is the same. It came down pretty hard, down to 481. Now it's trying to rebound. If it tries to hold or close above 494, it has potential to push up to at least 498 and eventually 500. But we have to see if Jerome Powell helps this as well. What does Jerome Powell cause to affect this? Technicals do show a bounce coming to a lot of stocks like Amazon and Meta. SPY is hitting some tough resistance at 515.5. If we do see a rejection here, it could actually sink the markets a bit. It's starting to reject a bit, but just to be safe, let's wait and see. So that being said, guys, watch resistance on SPY and see how we're doing. Tesla's remaining choppy. Some stocks like Aapl and Nvda are showing some strength, but SPY is at resistance, so is the QQQ. So we'll just have to see how things go. But with that being said, guys, I just want to thank you all so much for listening. Have a very, very awesome day, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you for listening, and peace out.